things always have some value assigned with them, like their height or weight, or even some monetary value. But many times, these values had to be compared to the value of other things. And to get a better comparison between these things, we require some kind of a benchmark or a scale on which they are compared. Now, this scale can be anything in the scenario itself, or it can be even something outside it on which these things are compared. This scale can vary case by case, but everyone having their own scale to measure things can be confusing sometimes. So long ago, people came up with a sort of a universal scale to better compare stuff with one another called percentage. Percentage has a ideal value of 100, and we use this symbol after a number to signify that it's a percent value. Now, as a standalone entity, everything is 100 by 100 of itself or 100% of itself when compared to only itself. But when compared to other things, they can be less than 100% in comparison, and things can be even greater than 100% in comparison. Now, original value is always 100 by 100 of itself or 100% of itself. But in percent related problems, this original value changes. Basic structure of problems on percent generally comprises of a original value which goes through some change in percent and turns into a final value. This change can be either positive, where the original value, which was 100 by 100 of itself, increases by some percent and give a bigger final value. Or it can be negative, where original value, which was again 100 by 100 of itself, decreases by some percent and give a smaller final value. That gives us this basic formula on which any percent operation works. Now, knowing the formula is one thing, but understanding any given scenario and the problem and applying this formula to it properly is also important. So, to get a better understanding, let's discuss some of the scenarios in which percent operations are used. First of all, the most basic and simplest of scenarios are where we just consider some numbers or units. Now, in this scenario, original value is 150, which we know by itself is only 100 by 100 of itself, or 100% of itself. And this value, when decreased by 70%, becomes only 30 by 100 of itself, or 30% of itself. And that's what we needed, because the final value that we need to find is 30% of the original value, which is 150. So now solving this, we'll get 15 multiplied with 3, and that's 45. Although short and simple number related scenarios are a bit boring, so let's move on to some more interesting and bigger scenarios like population. So now in this, population of a town was 240,000. Due to a disease, it got reduced by 20% in a year, and we have to find the new population. So our original value obviously is 240k, which got reduced or decreased by 20%. That means it becomes 80 by 100 of itself, or 80% of itself. Solving this, we'll find that the final value is 192,000, and that's the number of people who survived, including Bob. But due to sickness, he lost a lot of weight, which takes us to our next scenario. So Bob now weighs only 60 kg after he recovered, which is actually our final value. But what did he weigh before all this? So now we need to find the original value, and we already know the final value. But we would still go at it the same way and just consider original value as x for now. So x was 100 by 100 of itself, 100% of itself, which got decreased by 25%. That means it becomes 75 by 100 of itself. And that is equal to our final value, which is 60 kg. So simply solving it for x, we get that the x is 80 kg, and that's the original value we needed. So Bob lost a lot of weight, but it was okay because he got a promotion, and that is our next scenario. So Bob got a bonus of 5,000 coins, and his actual income was 20,000 coins. But this time we need to find the percent increase in his income. Now this time we know the original value or original income, which is 20,000 coins. And we already know the final value too, which is 20,000 plus bonus of 5,000 coins. That is 25,000 coins. But now we have to find the percent increase itself. Let's call it R. Now the final value is bigger than the original value, so it's clearly a case of percent increase. So we will use the basic formula for percent increase, and we will simply solve for R. So R is 25%. That means the original salary of 20,000 coin, which was 100 by 100 of itself, increased and became 125 by 100 of itself, which is 25,000 coins. Now, with all his extra coins, Bob decided to buy a bicycle for his son, Bob Jr. So he went to his friend, and that's our next scenario. And his friend sold him a bicycle on a discount of 1,000 coins, and Bob only had to pay 4,000 coins. And now we have to find the loss percent of the friend. So that means Bob has to finally pay only 4,000 coins. So that's our final value. But if we read the question carefully, which we always should, we'll find that the friend took 1,000 coin loss. That means the original value of bicycle was 4,000 coins plus 1,000 coin loss, that is 5,000 coins. So now this time it's a case of percent decrease. That means our original value of bicycle, which was 5,000 coins, decreased by, let's say, R% and became 4,000 coins. So as it's a decrease, instead of positive R, we'll use negative R and solve it for R. So we found that R is 20%. That means original value decreased by 20% and became 80 by 100 of itself, or 80% of itself. But now Bob Jr. started spending too much time riding his new bicycle and failed his math exam. And that takes us to our next scenario. So in his math exam, he only got 15 marks, which was 5 less than minimum passing marks. Minimum passing marks percent was 40, and we have to find the maximum marks possible. Now, most important in this or any problem is to figure out what's our final value, what is our original value, and what is the percent operation we need to apply. So we can see that Bob Jr. got 5 less than minimum marks, which is 15. That means minimum marks required is 15 plus 5, 20. Original value in this case would be 100% marks or maximum marks possible. And that's what we need to find out. So let's assume it to be x for now. And we know that the minimum passing percent is 40 or 40 by 100 of x, and 40% of x is 20. So we will simply solve for x and we find that x is 50. So many times actual calculation are easy, but it all depends on understanding and breaking down the problem and figuring out the values. Now, because Bob Jr. failed his exam, as punishment, his dad asked him to mow the whole lawn by himself, which is our next scenario. Now, in these type of questions, along with the percent operation, some other formulas are also needed to actually solve it. As in this case, we also need to know the formula of area of rectangle, which is length into breadth. So we know that lawn is 80 meter by 60 meter rectangle, and the area mowed by Bob Jr. since morning is also a rectangle, but a bit smaller because its length is 75% of the whole lawn's length and its breadth is 50% of the whole lawn's breadth. And all we need to find is the area still left to mow after lunch. So to do that, we will need to do two separate percent operations. First, we'll find the length, which is 75% of total length using the formula we already know, and it would come out to be 60 meters. Same thing for the breadth, but this time the percent decrease is 50%. So it would become 30 meters. Now we have both the length and breadth of the area already mowed, and all we gotta do is find the total area and subtract it by area already mowed by Bob Jr. And that would give us the area that he still needs to mow. By simple multiplication, we can find that total area is 4800 meters square and area already mowed is 1800 meters square. So area still left is 3000 meters square.